The energy of Pluto is begging us to stay in the shade, begging us to do that shadow work in the shadow, just like your Saturn of return that took place in 2012 and later. We're entering now the shadow realm. And if you don't know anything about shadow work, I would invite you to research the topic. But it's basically when you discover the dark night of the soul, and it has a strong correlation to the period of life known as identity crisis. And you will always have these opportunities that present themselves on a constant basis for you to redefine yourself and redefine your reality. It's just that the outside reality that's immediately around you is waiting for you to change in order for it to change. And this Pluto return that's being discussed all over the internet is primarily about these things. It's primarily about this change and is about this cyclical return. The last time Pluto was in this position was in the founding of this nation, the alleged signing of the Declaration of Independence of 1776. So it's been since that long, from 1776 to 2022. So on a universal time loop level, we are back in 1776. That's why we're in the position that we're in now. It's just instead of tariffs now, there were masks and mandates, but we're still in the same time loop. It was however many hundred years between 1776 and 2022. The lining up of the twos on the 22nd of February of 2022 being this year, this is when we enter the re-beginning, the reinitiating, the re-entering of that loop that basically founds a nation. And now we have a choice right now. We're back at the starting point where, as a civilization, as a society, as a world, we have the option to be either a nation or a corporation. I'll say that again. This time around, we have the opportunity and the decision to either be a nation or a corporation. The corporation leads to a debt-driven society. This is the correction that we see is required. We have to go back to being a nation again. And that doesn't mean to prime every individual group that is under their own nationalities and under their own flags when they came into the country, but it is to have more of a harmonized, a more humanitarian approach to society, where things like good manners and charm and hard work and good ethics will win the day, instead of the sleight of hand and not being sure, and the only ones being obedient are the subservient on the lower tiers, allegedly, where the master magicians are on the higher level. Well, all of that is on equal playing field now too, because we're in the realm of the magician. We went from the realm of the minister to the realm of the magician. Now we have to enter the magician. We came from the realm of the light, which was torch-bearing, heliocentric belief systems, into now the shadow realm, the left-hand path, the back half of the Sephirotic tree, the back half of the branches, the cold, the dark. And this doesn't mean evil, but it does connotate a less warm, a less open, and a less vulnerable environment. So all of these things pertain to Pluto. You have mystery. You have a lot of workings in the dark. You have a lot of workings in the womb. It is very womb-centered, this Pluto, because of the dark and the cold and the isolation that it has from the rest of this immediate solar system. So, dare I say, we're going from a solar system to a lunar system. We're on the dark half of the moon, the dark side of the moon. We're now working in the celestial realm. You have all kinds of evidence of the sky and the higher things and the universal things coming down to this earth level. You have whatever signs you see in the sky. You have these new technologies. You even have a black comedy that's taking place in the realm of entertainment, where you have all of these scandals and all of this death. Those people are considered stars. And even in the scriptures, it talks about the stars being thrown down to the earth. You can land on the earth if you're a star as a humanitarian. You can land gently if your reputation isn't soiled. But to be thrown down to the earth, to be a star, to sit at the upper echelon, to sit in the lap of luxury, and to be thrown down into the commonwealth, to be thrown down into the common people, the general populace, to be thrown down to that level, suggests a mark of disgrace and a negative controversy that's taking place around that star's life, hence causing them to be cast down. We're in Pluto. And Pluto is working now under the sign of Capricorn, which is the goat, the scapegoat, the one that has the neck broken. So we're dealing with a change in voice, a change in words, a change in vocabulary, because Capricorn is the goat, and the goat is Azazel, the scapegoat that gets led into the wilderness for his neck to be snapped, for people to be pardoned. And this does not endorse in any way the cruelty of animals. This is not literal, but from a societal level, what do you get? Scapegoats and people getting blamed for stuff, and big leaders and big CEOs and big boss entities falling. And this has been taking place for roughly the past 10 or 15 years. But this is all going into the magic of Pluto, where the dark side is becoming what's enlightened, and the light side is phased out and being updated and upgraded. So it's being pushed out of the way. We're going from the light, the manifestation, the open, the very exposed realm of masculinity, back into the more subtle, the more feminine energies. We're back into the mother goddess energy, whether you like it or not. And I know a lot of the patriarchal programming can be what is considered as the only truth, because for the past 2,200 years or so, and even longer, we've been under heliocentric, sun-worshipping, idealized humanity. But now all of that is over. What do you do when you find out that in this phase of human history, God is going to manifest itself as female, as more of a nurturer, as more of a caretaker, as more of a overarching attention to detail, to always want to handle the details and deal with the upbringing and the growth rather than just the conquest that was associated with the patriarchal conquest. This is what Pluto is about. Pluto is about everything being changed around, everything being flipped around. It's time for the other side. This is the negative side of the battery. You need both parts of the battery in order to make whatever the battery is going into work. So you have to have this yin and yang. You have to have both. So we're in the other half. It's heads or tails, but the coin is still worth the same no matter what side the coin is flipped on. This is just simply the other side of the coin.